Oh my god. Oh my god. Don't do that.
Gotta clear the pipes.
I hope that we're not... Are we swapping mics, or does this stay here?
I got a haircut.
I didn't say anything, but I noticed, but I just didn't say anything.
Oh, so that means you didn't like it.
Your
That means you didn't like it.
Actually, you know what? Turn to the side. It actually looks really nice.
The lady that did it really good.
Yeah, this right here actually looks really good.
She goes...
Not that you ever have bad haircuts, but
yes,
it looks noticeably.
There was the time that the lady didn't shave this, just a strip right here.
Yeah.
So this was all faded.
Uh-huh.
This was the same length. And then my beard went...
Weird.
Looked like I had a G.
Oh.
Same place. I keep going back.
Yeah.
The lady goes, you have a cowlick. And I was like, oh yeah. She goes, if your cowlick's sticking up, it's just combed the wrong way. That away.
And she taught you that.
Yeah, but I mean, I kind of knew. I was like, yeah, I know I have a cowlick. I also have a crazy ridge on my skull.
Really?
I got yelled at by a fucking hairdresser one time about it.
Can I feel it?
Yeah.
This?
Yeah.
Why do you have that?
I don't know. So much brains. But a hairdresser one time was like, because if you hit the fade right there, you can't fade it. It like makes this shit stick out. So it either has to hit right below it or above it.
And what did the lady who yelled at you, what did...
She fucking tried to hit it like right in the middle, and so it would like poofed out and looked weird. And I was like, happens all the time.
Yeah.
And then I like said, she was like, you have this like ridge on your head. And I was like, yeah, I've been told that before. And she's like, you didn't tell me? You didn't like warn me?
She actually said that?
Yeah. And I was like, no, I just thought that you would touch my head and be a hairdresser. I mean, I didn't say that. I was just like, oh no. And then she was just like, yeah, you should really tell your hairdressers about that next time. Ooh. And I have never told one, and I never will. And I'll get bad haircuts about it. I don't give a fuck. Fuck her. I didn't go back.
Yeah, that's one I wouldn't go back to either.
Well, it's like I just go to Floyd's, and it's a new face every time.
Is it this one over here by Jimmy John's?
Yeah.
I do believe it's my turn for the intro. Right?
Yes.
Because you did the Halloween.
No, you did the Halloween
one.
I
did?
But I don't want to do the intro, so.
All right. Well, I'd just like to say welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Secondhand Smut. I'm Angela.
I'm Paul. And this is Secondhand Smut. Dude, we're so good. What number? 9?
Crushing it.
Yeah.
I do believe this is 9.
Ninth
this is
time's
episode
the charm.
9. 9 times the charm.
That's
9
right.
lives.
3 threes. Third time's the charm.
Oh,
it's
dude.
the third.
Oh, and my phone number 333. You'll never know the front. No one will ever know the front.
I'm bleeping that. No.
Do it.
I'm gonna bleep just. How's it going?
It's going very well. It's going very well. I feel there's something in the air.
A shift. It was that full moon.
Like, and I, without getting too into it, I just...
Get into it.
I feel like for me and for you and for, like, people we know...
Yeah.
I feel like shit is boiling. And I feel like things are just happening. And I feel like dare I say we're on the precipice...
We're on the precipice.
...of maybe something very good.
Yes, dude.
...happening.
It's very 8 of Wands tarot card feeling.
Oh, what's the 8 of Wands?
It's 8 wands flying through the air, and they're nearing their destination, and it's like all the momentum, all of the journey, all the shit.
Yes.
It's like we're about to hit it. We're about to land.
Really?
You know?
That's almost what it feels like, dude, because, I mean, I hate to say this, COVID really threw a wrench into life.
Fully.
The last 3 years have been, and I can't speak for everybody, I'm literally, truly only speaking for myself, not great.
You can speak for me.
Okay.
I'll
just say the last few years, which, by the way, is a long time.
It's a long time, and it's been 3 years. It does feel...
It feels
like it's been a lifetime.
It's been a lifetime. It hasn't been great for the past few years. And dare I say, touch wood, that it might be coming to an end.
Yeah.
And
it's flipping the script.
Yep, the tables are turning.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. I know.
It's exciting.
I almost just got goosebumps.
I do. I think I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Every once in a while when I have a spark of a little bit of a feeling, which is almost never.
Yeah.
That's what it is lately.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
Hope.
Oh
my God.
Whoa, shut.
It's hope.
Shh.
I know.
That's a bad word. Yeah.
Sorry.
So scared of that.
Sorry. I know.
Sue me.
Sue me.
Sue me. I feel positive.
Sue me. I might feel a little positive. So it's like, you know what I'm feeling? I'm feeling I'm going to keep this momentum going.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to not question it.
Yeah, just let it be real.
Right. someone recently opened my mind to a concept. And he said, when we're happy or feeling joy, we just want to, I know I'm going to get a little deep for a second. Yeah. A little Angela wisdom here.
Yeah.
Actually,
settle
no,
in.
Ryan wisdom. We want to feel more happy. We want more. We want more. And it's like, just squeeze the nectar, man.
Yeah.
Just squeeze the nectar.
That's a good point.
Yeah. When we're feeling happy or excited or positive, let's just enjoy that for a sec.
I get so stressed about it leaving.
Yeah, me too.
You know?
I know.
Even like last night, like me and Taylor were having pizza and it was like, oh my God, we're just like having this cool Friday night, got Blue Pan nice pizza, this whole thing. And I'm just like...
happy but like freaked out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like just squeeze the nectar.
Yeah.
He was real hippy dippy. He smelled.
They're gonna say hot.
No, but it was a wood. Even though he was a nasty. No, he was a nasty hippie.
Well, I know how you do.
But it was a wood.
I know where you go.
That definitely would have been like a no for Maggie. And on paper, a no for me.
On paper, you're knowing me.
He was so like. He was so smart and insightful. I was like, okay, get into this.
Into the brain.
But
give him a call.
He did not believe in deodorant. And
they never do.
I can't hang with
I've walked down that road once or twice.
Me too, but I can't hang with it.
I'm fine.
I can't. See, I can't.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, hold on. Put a T. I can handle it if it's just a little man musk.
Musk and BO are different things.
I'm talking BO, dude. Okay, I can't hang with that. I'm sorry. I'm wearing men's Old Spice right now. God forbid I have BO. I've given up on the organic deodorant.
I'm still charcoal.
I can't do it.
Charcoal magnesium.
I cannot do it.
I also smell all the time, though.
No, you don't. I've never smelled you.
I think
ever.
I do. Actually, that smelled great just then. But I'm fresh up. You know what, though?
You should take hints from your boyfriend because he smells good all the time.
I don't have the time to put on the layers of oils and lotions and creams and powders.
Is that what it is?
Dude, dude has a different oil for every section of his body. He puts fucking beard oil on his taint.
He's so smart.
Yeah, dude.
He smells
when I'm down there,
good
it's
all
good.
The time.
Yeah. It's seriously, it's like fucking sandalwood, patchouli, fucking, I don't know, every bespoke post box is what his butthole smells like. It's delectable. It's just,
I just know that every time I see him within 2 seconds, I have to tell him how good he smells. Because it's like...
His pomade smells.
Yeah.
And then he does like rosemary essential oils at night on his hair for like hair growth and comes to bed. It smells so good.
God, you're so lucky.
And I told him to do that.
Did you?
And I didn't mean, I was just like, I heard that rosemary is good for like hair growth. And he started doing it and I was like, fucking Christ. This is my favorite thing.
Yeah. Dude, I honestly, a man or a woman smelling nice does it for me. I'm trying to find like a signature scent. Because I'd like to be someone who's like, she always smells good.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to be someone. But someone who smells nice.
Yeah, someone who smells nice.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm worried because I think that I smell like weed all the time. And I think that I do.
You have a tinge.
Yeah.
It's not like, where's the skunk at? But you have a tinge.
Yeah, it's hard not to at this point.
Well, I mean, it's just part of you.
I live in a studio apartment. I smoke an insane amount, and my clothes are in the same room as me. Yep. What are you going to do?
I will sometimes leave here and be like, I smell good.
You smell cool. You smell like you're down to clown.
I got to tell you, I'm feeling this Saturday morning vibe.
I know. I haven't taken a shower yet. I feel a little weird.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
But we're going to a party tonight. We're going to a Halloween party.
Even though this episode comes out after Halloween.
Yeah, but don't worry about how time works in the entertainment industry. That's for us to know. And it's a bunch of straight people. If you're one gay in a sea of straights, you're the most unique, interesting person in the room. Like, if I went to a gay club in this outfit, I'm just another motherfucker.
True.
You know? Who cares?
Right.
I'm a big fish in a little pond tonight.
It's your time to shine tonight.
It is my time to shine. That is why I go to so many straight parties and stuff.
That's so funny.
I'm driving to our hometown next week for a Halloween party. That's the fucking smallest pond you can go into. I might get hit.
Cool. I really can't wait. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about one thing, just gearing it towards books. I'm going to bring this up. So I really need to work on adjusting my rating system for these books.
Yeah.
Truly. So the episode that came out before the Halloween episode about the lesbians in Portland,
Yeah.
I rated that a 3.5.
You did.
That's a 2.1.
That was wild.
Okay, I know. I realized,
you adjusted it, I feel like, at the end of that episode, though, didn't you?
At
I
the
feel like
very
you were
end?
like, I actually hated this book.
Yeah, I really need to work on not being overly generous, because when I read a truly good book, it takes away from that.
The average is changing. Well, because you don't want to be like mean to the author. It's like you don't want to
That's
fucking
my whole
make them
thing.
feel bad.
That's my whole thing. Is like I don't want to make them feel bad because they wrote a book, which I could never do, by the way.
Yeah.
And
well, I think you could.
Maybe, who knows? I could write a novella.
You could write. Yeah, you start there.
Yeah. Anyway, I really am going to start. I'm so concerned over this. It's keeping me up at night.
Well, okay,
my rating
then
system.
Speak your truth.
This is it. I'm speaking
Okay.
right now. I'm just, that book has downgraded to a 2.1, and I'm moving forward going to be very truthful about how I feel about the books.
That's genuine.
Genuine.
Yeah, genuine.
Pony,
Yeah,
if you will.
exactly.
Okay?
Because then it means something.
It does.
If you're just giving out 3.5s to
Shit garbage.
the slowest,
Right.
most boring book that's ever been written.
Then what does it mean when I give a book a 4?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything.
Was the kiss quotient even good?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't want people out here thinking I'm just willy-nilly
pandering to the authors.
Yes. Okay, so that being said, this week's book, is a genuine 4.
Okay.
Out of 5 stars, okay? It was a really good book. It's called The Roommate by Rosie Danan.
It looks like it's not what I guessed.
It certainly isn't, although I love.
I know, I was rewatching that guess yesterday and was just like,
I was hanging on every word you were.
Good.
Oh,
yes.
That was beyond. I was literally hanging on every word. I wanted you to finish the story.
That epilogue was insane.
Yeah. This is not that, but it's still really good. I still loved it. So
very pink.
Very pink.
Very pink.
Well, that's the whole thing about these books. They're like, if you're at an airport, you don't want people knowing you're reading smut, but then you get in it and it's like his cock, blah, 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 so.
Well, that's right. Oh my God, I'm so glad we're doing this.
Yeah.
Because Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Okay, so read the back. You want to read?
Yeah.
Okay.
House rules. Do your own dishes, knock before entering the bathroom, never look up your roommate online. The Wheatons are infamous among the East Coast elite for their lack of impulse control, except for their daughter, Clara. She's the consummate socialite, overachieving, well-mannered, and predictable. But every Wheaton has their weakness. When Clara's childhood crush invites her to move cross-country, the offer is too tempting to resist. Unfortunately, it's also too good to be true. After a bait and switch, Clara finds herself sharing a lease with a charming stranger. Josh might be a little too perceptive, not to mention handsome, for comfort, but there's a good chance he and Clara could have survived sharing a summer sublet if she hadn't looked him up on the internet. What is he, a sex worker? Once she learns how Josh has made a name for himself, Clara realizes living with him might make her the Wheaton's most scandalous story yet. His professional prowess inspires her to take tackling the stigma against female desire in her own hands. It's an OnlyFans thing. They may not agree on much, but Josh and Clara both believe women deserve better sex. Amen. What they decide to do about it will change both of their lives, and if they're lucky, they'll help everyone else get lucky too. Okay.
It's a romantic comedy.
Yeah, I was like, I can picture this.
Uh-huh. I definitely, as I was reading it, could picture it as a movie. I'm like, this is...
Yeah.
Totally
could switch.
See it. Yeah. I'll get right into it, man.
Yeah.
Love this book. All right, let me get situated here.
Yeah, I could take a drink.
Okay, so I actually wrote 4.25 stars.
4 1/4.
4 1/4. And spice, I put 3.85.
Okay. Wait, what's our highest spice so far?
Well, Den of Vipers, but it wasn't. It was the kind of spice that.
Wait, I finally read chapter 28 and we didn't talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Obviously, that's a 5 for spice.
That was a.
But that's also not my kind of spice.
I'm like,
I'm not into that.
I guess it's a 5 for spice.
Creativity.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, this is not like that at all.
Okay.
This is like build up, slow burn, but also not slow burn. But it's just, she's mastered the art of the build up.
Okay.
Which is...
So she's good. This is a good one.
Yeah.
What's the author's name?
Rosie Danan.
Rosie Danan. That sounds
She's got another one I'm going to get. So we meet Clara Wheaton. She's our high-strung, East Coast, old money, waspy, affluent recent art history doctorate grad, main character. So if that's painting a picture for you.
I'm going to picture Christine, and I don't care.
All right.
I'm going to picture our best dear friend, Christine.
If that's what you want to do.
Oh, no, I'm not. Because it's going to get real raunchy,
yeah,
huh?
It is. I'm going to say,
okay.
if that's what you want to do. Yeah, I just pictured like very well put together Upper West Side Manhattan type woman.
Oh, okay.
You know?
I could do that.
Yeah. She has turned down a job at the Guggenheim to move to LA.
Great AC at the Guggenheim.
Yeah.
I remember.
I got yelled at by a lady at the Guggenheim for holding my phone over. She's like, don't put your phone over the... I was like, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, she's given that job up, which is the job of a lifetime, by the way, to go to LA to live with Everett Bloom, who's like their old family friends. Like, she's been in love with him since she was 12 years old. Okay. They're 27 now.
I'm picturing Revenge.
Revenge.
Do you remember that, like, Hulu show or something?
Revenge was a show. There's also Gossip Girl.
Not Gossip Girl. It's definitely not that. It was like newer than that. It was like the girl that was coming back to get revenge on the rich people.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I did watch that show.
Blonde woman. That's now what I'm going to picture.
Okay, that works for me.
Okay.
I approve of that, woman from Revenge. So, but Everett friend-zoned her their whole lives.
Okay.
So she's a little bit of a simp.
Yeah, it sounds like it. You're giving up across country.
Yeah. It's like May, so it's the beginning of the summer, and he's like, just come out here and have a summer off in LA. Like, your family's so uptight. Your brother just got put in jail for some money thing.
Sure.
Another scandal in the Wheaton family.
Crime.
Yeah. They're like socialites, like pictured like Page 6 in New York.
Yeah.
And her family
I'm just watching Real Houses of New York right now. So I'm like, this is perfect.
Perfect.
I totally get this right now.
She's promised her mom that she'll be the child that doesn't have a scandal. She'll never have a scandal.
She's like Tinsley. She'll be like, I'm picturing Tinsley. Okay, we found it.
Okay.
We got there.
That is, but cool.
Trust me, this is Tinsley.
She gets to LA, flies over. Everett picks her up in his Jeep. She's got her suitcases. She's there for the summer. And as Everett's driving them home, he goes, hey, by the way, I was just told that my band is going to go on tour for the next 3 months.
He's a musician? Did you say that? Okay, yeah.
And I've rented out my room, and you're going to have a surprise new roommate for the entire summer that I just convinced you to move across country for.
I mean, sure, that sucks, but, like, isn't that only a problem if you're poor?
Well, she's like, I have no friends. I know no one here. I don't drive. I don't drive. I don't have a car. So she's like, you're just leaving me alone? I'm like, all right, cool. I mean, I'd be
this
upset.
Is shitty, but if I'm, like, rich, like her, comes from, like, money, I would just be like, well, I'm going to get a hotel room tonight, and I'm back on a plane tomorrow. Like,
and that's initially what she's thinking. She's like, well, guess I'll just go back to New York with my tail between my legs.
Yeah.
Until
she sees the roommate.
She meets the roommate.
Hello. I mean, that would get me, too.
So Everett kind of just drops her off at the doorstep, and he's like, I'm actually out. We got to be at a show tonight in New Mexico.
Yeah. He's like, in the Uber. He added a stop.
Yeah.
He's like, got a final destination.
Yeah. So she's just there, standing in this house.
Oh, what a prick.
Yeah, he's a piece
That is
of
really
shit.
upsetting.
So she's just kind of standing there, and then in comes Josh, the roommate.
Okay.
Which I gotta be honest with you, I'm really into the name Josh. I don't know why.
No, Josh is a hot name. It's one of those hot dude names.
Yeah, it does it for me, for sure.
Until you meet a bad one or something.
Which I have.
Which I have too, but it still does it for me.
It still does it for me. And I think the Josh that you and I are talking about are probably the same one.
Yeah. He was all wood for me when I met him, though.
Initially, yeah.
And then he started talking.
And then he started talking.
Like, oh,
and you're like,
my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please stop talking.
Yeah.
So they just kind of have some small talk, like, all right, I guess we're in this situation. She explains, like, I'm his friend. We've known each other forever. I'm coming out here to spend the summer with him, and now he's gone. And she's like, what do you do? She's like, I'm an art history doctorate, blah, 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 just taking a summer off. And he's like, well, I work in the entertainment industry. And she's looking at him up and down, and she's like, he's disheveled. He's just a low-life screenwriter that's not ever going to work. He probably
Fuck this bitch. Coming to my house?
Well, it's neither of their homes.
Well, it's more my house than it is hers.
Yeah, he got there 20
he got
minutes
there first.
ago.
Dibs.
He can sense that she's like a little high-strung, you know, she's like well put together. And
yeah,
he's
lame.
Just like, he's just got like a plaid shirt on. Like, he's just chill.
It's California.
Tall. He's like 6'2".
Oh, of course.
I'm going to picture 6'3", actually.
Go
I
for
want
it.
6'3".
Okay, go
Maybe
for
6'4". I don't want to get crazy.
Well, I mean, God, can his heart take that, you know?
6'3". We'll say 6'3".
Yeah, that'll give him a couple of years of life.
And he's just like, you know, little built, you know, little sun-kissed.
Surfer?
I could picture that 100%.
Okay.
It doesn't mention that, but I could 100% picture him surfing. So they have their small talk, whatever. She decides she's going to stay at least for a little while.
Yeah. What's the house, or is it an apartment or a house?
It's an apartment, 2-bedroom.
On the beach? City center?
It doesn't. I'll let you be the decide.
Okay.
Well, little outside of city center of LA.
Okay.
Like it'd be like a 40-minute commute into city center of LA.
Okay.
So she decides they need to come up with some ground rules since they're so new to each other. And she's also very high strung. So it's the next morning, and she slips a little list under Josh's door. Like, immediately he comes out.
Yeah.
And comes into her room and is like, in the doorstop, no shirt on. And she, like, looks up at him, and then she's looking at his happy trail.
She's following the happy trail.
She's following the happy trail.
That sounds good. Sun-kissed, tall, abs,
happy
trail.
Doing it for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she's like...
And as my roommate, this is actually my nightmare, though. I'm really bad around, like, super hot people.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I'm super bad around them.
That's so funny you say that, because she is too.
Yeah.
She's, like, normally cannot talk to hot people, can't look them in the eye.
Yeah, if I'm being rude to you, you're either really hot or super ugly.
Totally.
There is no in between.
None.
Mediums, we're good.
That's my people.
That's my people.
Anyway.
6s and 7s?
So...
5s.
5s. 4s.
4s.
So she goes, "You're not wearing enough clothes." And he's like, "What?" And she said, "That's one of the rules. In all common areas, you need to be wearing enough clothes."
Fuck this bitch, dude. I really don't like her. I'm starting to not like her.
Paul.
She's got beef with screenwriters, which I get it. They're insufferable. But
yeah, right. Hello. You need to chill.
No, I won't.
This is like chapter 1, okay? Chill out.
I'm as unchill as she is.
That's true.
About her.
Uh-huh. Anyway, so Josh is like, "I don't see anything on your list of ground rules here about sex."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Sex? What?" And he's like, "I don't mean between me and you.
Yeah.
I mean, what if I'm getting laid or you're getting laid? Like, what?" And she's like, "Well, just put a scrunchie on the door."
Yeah, let me pull out a scrunchie.
I know.
What?
I know.
I mean, I could, but...
Tie your hair back.
Yeah, come on.
Uh-huh. So then they just keep talking again, and then they're like, "We need to go to the grocery store to get food. There's no food in this house. Let's just go together." She's like, "Yeah, I don't drive." And you can tell there's something weird. She's got something about driving.
If there's one reoccurring theme in every single smut book we've read, it's that, like, someone has a travel hang-up.
I know.
Plane, train, automobile.
Yeah,
like,
plane. It's always been planes or cars.
Yeah.
It really is insane.
Yeah.
Because, well, I think what it does is it gets them into that forced proximity of they have to be in a car together.
Sure. But, I mean, can't we just normalize I don't like to drive?
True.
Because I hate
Look
driving.
at you. You're a perfect example.
Yeah.
In the smut books, it's always trauma related.
It's like they have to over justify. I'd like a book that just goes, and I don't really like to drive, so I don't have a car.
I agree with you on that. So they go to the grocery store. As they're walking around, she tells him about her aunt, because he's like, "Well, do you know anyone out here?
Yeah.
Like, do you have anybody at all?" And she's like, "Well, I do have an aunt out here in LA who owns her own PR firm. She kind of got excommunicated from our family because there was a big scandal when she was 19. And the aunt's older. I think I'm picturing like maybe 50. When she was 19, the aunt had an affair with the deputy mayor of Greenwich, Connecticut, and her dad was the mayor. So
she had an affair with, like, her dad's
colleague, married colleague.
He's the manager. That's the assistant manager.
Yep, of the city.
And she had an affair with him.
And he's married, and he was like 25 years older than her. She was 19. He was like, whatever. And
don't tempt me with a good time.
Right. But then it all came out, and she like went to City Hall or whatever and like handcuffed herself because he was denying the affair. She's like, "You know, we had an affair, blah, blah, blah." Like, embarrassed. It was a huge embarrassment. The dad's the mayor. And so the family excommunicated her, and she's been living in LA ever since. And now she's super successful publicist, has a PR firm. Anyway, so she's like, "That's who I have out here."
Well, she sounds like a good time.
I'm like, sign me up.
Yeah, and now she's out here doing PR.
Yeah.
She better do some good PR.
Aunt Jill is her name.
Aunt Jill.
Yeah. So
Jills are wild cards.
They are. He's like, "Well, maybe you should
hit her up,
you know?
Go out to dinner, get some sushi.
Do something, you know?" So actually the next day she's like, "Well, I have nothing else to do, so I am going to give Aunt Jill a call and just kind of like make amends." So they go out to eat. She apologizes for not talking to her. She was like, you know, my mother didn't want anyone talking to you.
I'd be like, yeah, I'm the child, you know.
Right. Even though she's 27 now. Anyway, she apologizes and she just tells her exactly what happened with Everett leaving her. She's not telling her family, by the way.
Well,
she keeps just being like, "Oh, Everett's in the bathroom," because her mom's like,
she's like embarrassed that she was simped so hard that she moved,
and then he abandoned her.
And then he left.
I mean, it is embarrassing. I'd be embarrassed.
Yeah, that
too.
is super embarrassing, and it is also just like, I don't know anyone here.
Yeah,
the dude left. Like, I'm just getting on a plane and going home.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
The biggest.
See if the Guggenheim will take me back.
Yeah,
yeah. She does want a break. She is sick of, you know, being around that environment back in New York. So that's why she decided to stay. Anyway, so her and Jill are like having fun at lunch, and Jill's like, "So who are you living with then? Who's this guy?" And as she says that,
Joshua,
he texts her, and it's like a selfie.
Dick pic.
I wish. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, so it's a selfie, and she's like, "Well, actually, this is my roommate." And Jill,
well, that's a weird move too. What? Hey, roomie, selfie.
Well,
what?
He is kind of like poking at her high-strungness.
Oh, so he sent a shirtless picture
for the past
something?
couple days, like just giving her shit.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's
a book.
Yeah,
it's a book.
So he sends her a selfie. Aunt looks at the selfie and like spit takes and is like, "Oh my god."
You don't know
Josh
who that
Darling is your
Shut
roommate.
up. I love that.
She goes, "There's no fucking way you're living with Josh Darling."
Yeah, with this porn star.
And she's like, "Who is that?" And she goes, "He's the moment right now. He is the hottest porn performer
I would
in
have
LA.
to move out immediately.
Oh, me too.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, there's no world where I could hang out with hot people like that.
A hot porn performer?
And then they live in the house with me,
and they're just
like regular. They're like drinking orange juice. Like, what do you mean?
I wouldn't be able to stop staring.
No.
I'd be like...
Yeah, I would be weird.
Yeah,
I would
I'd
be inappropriate.
So weird.
Like,
yeah, me too. I have no chill. I have to
do more therapy before any therapy before I could do this.
Yeah. So she's like, "I don't watch porn, so I don't know what you're talking about."
She sucks, dude.
Yeah, she's very sheltered.
Yeah.
She's been very, very sheltered, and she didn't want to be like her Aunt Jill or her brother, so she's been holding herself to extremely high standards, and she needs to get over it.
Yeah.
Anyway, cut to Josh on set. He's just finishing up. Yep. And in walks his... Oh, I forgot to mention, in the very, very beginning when Josh first met Clara, he was like, "Listen, I'm not trying to stay here for very long. I'm just trying to stay here as long as it takes for my ex-girlfriend to let me move back in."
Ew.
Yeah. So, cut to, we're on set.
I wanted to be gay porn star.
Sorry, it's straight. He did try gay once, but it wasn't for him.
As long as there's a video.
So he's on...
That makes it hotter.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there was. And his ex-girlfriend is on set. Her name's Naomi. So Naomi's on set with Josh. And
she's a porn star too?
She's a porn star too.
Aww.
We find out in that moment that they've been together for 2 years. And when they started performing together, they got really good feedback. People were like, "We like seeing you two together." So they kind of have just blown up together. Like Elle Magazine, BuzzFeed, and other places wrote about them.
Yeah.
And so they're having their 15 minutes of fame right now. She's also giving him shit.
Oh. She's actually also his fluffer on set today, so...
She's giving him shit like, "Oh, you know, you moved out, and now who's this girl you're living with?"
Yeah,
and
you
blah,
think you're
blah,
so
blah.
fucking cool.
He's just like, "I know this girl does not know who I am. There's no way she watches porn. You don't have anything to worry about. She's like this uppity East Coast princess." But he does admit, he's like, "But she is beautiful.
She could get it.
And I would, she can get it.
She can get it.
If she ever wanted to,
yeah,
she can
I'm trying to let her know, too.
Uh-huh. Anyway, there's just that scene just to kind of establish, like, who Naomi and Josh are, you know, what their what their dynamic is and what their current, like, situation is in the industry. They're very big in the industry right now.
Huge. Anyway,
so Josh goes to meet with his agent, Benny, who's a scumbag piece of shit, has total reputation of being a piece of shit. Josh is going to meet Benny to try to renegotiate a 3-year contract he's in. It was a really shitty contract that he signed. They hooked him.
Nightmare.
Yeah, they hooked him. They really worked him over when he signed this contract. It's exclusive.
Yeah.
He cannot work for anybody else. Yeah. He cannot do his own merchandise. He cannot do any public appearances without Black Hat Studios.
Yeah.
say so. It's just a terrible thing. Also, it's just enough money. Like, he's not.
Yeah.
And so now that he's blown up, and he's like, I know what I'm making that studio.
Yeah.
And he's like, we've got to renegotiate this. This is unfair. Benny's like, yeah, I talked to them. They'll give you $5,000. Josh is like, $5,000.
Listen, they love to throw $5,000 at you to make everything all right.
That's the magic number.
That's the magic number.
Uh-huh.
Fucking motherfuckers.
Yeah. Josh is like, no, I know what I'm worth. I've already met my film quota for the year. I'm walking away.
Yeah.
And I'm going to not work.
Yeah.
If you
I'll go dark, bitch.
Yeah, you can go back to the table because this is insane.
Yeah. Good for him.
Yep. As he's walking away, Benny yells out. They're in a diner. Benny yells out,
"You'll never work in this town again.
Fucking is the only thing you're good at, and you're not even good at it. Call me when you want to grow up." Oh. And he's like, they will, however.
Release your gay sex tape.
They will, however, give you the big bucks if you want to move into hardcore shit.
Like what? Fisting?
I have no clue what hardcore shit is.
Yeah.
But Josh is just like, that's not my thing.
Well, it's also just like, I don't need to. What do you mean? I'm super famous like right now.
Mm-hmm. So Benny's like, well, call me when you want to do the hardcore shit. And Josh is like, well, I'll call you never because that's not my thing.
I feel like he's going to end up doing the hardcore shit.
Now we're cutting back to Clara.
Yeah.
She's back home after having lunch with Aunt Jill.
Yeah.
Curiosity's getting the best of her. She can't stop thinking about Josh being a porn star, which, same.
Oh, this would ruin me.
And so, you
see a video of them now fucking.
Oh, God.
Like, I'm moving out.
Okay, so let me set the scene for you.
Okay.
We're in LA. This apartment does not have air conditioning. It's hot. It's summer. So she's throwing on this, like, old nightgown that she's been wearing her whole life. So it's a little short, see-through, worn. She's got no bra on. So keep that in mind.
Freedom
anyway,
nip.
So she's in the living room and she's like, Josh said he had a late meeting or whatever tonight, so he's not going to be home forever. So she lays down on her stomach on the couch, ankles behind her, like.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
On the computer,
On the computer, she lays her computer down and she starts Googling him. Mm-hmm. Oh, then she finds the Elle article, which has a link to his, the video that blew him up. Okay, so this is what the Elle article said. Is Josh Darling evolving porn? In an industry that famously caters to the male gaze, Darling has quietly stolen scenes for almost 2 years with his signature smolder and his reputation for prioritizing his female co-star's pleasure. Unlike mainstream media portrayals of female desire, Josh Darling is not afraid to get up close and personal with the clitoris. Industry insiders clamor to work with him, and audiences will do the increasingly unthinkable to watch him. Pay. His boy next door looks may appear unassuming, but his magnetism defies definition, especially when he plays opposite his fiery on-again, off-again girlfriend, Naomi Grant. Executives for Black Hat Studios, who hold Darling's exclusive contract, widely credit the Smokestack duo with bringing in female audiences across the groups, while Miss Grant's long-limbed Grace Rivets to watch Josh Darling perform is to witness a master perfecting his craft. In the age of lukewarm hookups and rampant dick pics, Darling gives women a reason to believe sex is still worth getting out of bed.
Oh my God, it's lady porn.
It's lady
he
porn.
He does lady porn.
And let me tell you,
you're a lady who likes that porn.
I'm a lady, and I'm a legging. So that's Josh's vibe.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. He's like, how's your day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's reading this article, then she's now watching the video, and she can tell he's really into it.
She's
and he
into
walks.
It. Oh my God. That's so embarrassing.
And it's at a point where he's grunting and moaning in the video.
He goes, I recognize my own voice.
Yeah. So he's just standing there at first because he opens the door and can just see her on the couch. Her head's
ass
facing that way.
Face down,
her ass is up.
Her
nightgown totally riding up. And he's just looking and he's like, oh my God, what is going on? And then he hears himself and he's like, oh, I know what's going on. She's watching me. She found out.
Oh my God.
And so he just kind of stands there, watches her for 10 seconds, and then he drops his bag on the floor.
Yeah. Goes,
And she freaks out, jumps up off the couch.
Yeah.
She
I
turns
would
around.
rip my laptop in half.
And then when she turns around, he can see that the front of her nightgown is see-through, and he's like,
oh,
I can see her nipples. And he's like, what were you doing? And she tries to just play it off, and then finally she goes, all right.
Yeah, I was looking at your porn.
I was watching your porn.
Yeah, someone told me about you. I had to do it. I mean, come on.
And she says that.
I'm gonna level with you.
Yep. I'm a level
with you. I was watching your porn.
Uh-huh. She's a watching and she's a legging.
I can tell this book got you. Because you are like giddy blushing. Like,
I will reread this book tonight.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
This is the Spank Bank.
This is the Spank Bank
This is
book.
the lobby of your Spank Bank.
I encourage
you walk
every
in,
woman.
This is the first thing you see.
Yep. This is any woman watching this that wants to get into smut, get this book. This will do it for you. This is what I was waiting for. And I'm about to lay something down for you, Paul.
Okay, yeah.
He's like, all right, walks over, sits on the couch next to her, and he's like, what questions do you have?
Don't let me spoil the ending.
He's like, I know this bitch is going to have questions. Yeah. I'm a porn star. There's no way she's not going to have questions.
I was like, it's really none of your business how I pay my part of the rent, so.
Oh, well, he's into it, though.
Oh, yeah.
He's not shy.
Well, clearly. Someone likes to get watched.
She sits down and she's like, well, it seems like you really enjoy going downtown.
The clitoris.
She's like, it's never been my thing, but whatever. And he's like,
going down on girls or getting gone down on?
Getting gone down on.
Okay.
She goes,
so she's emotionally unavailable.
Yeah. So he's like, really? That hasn't been your thing? She's like, no. And he's getting weird vibes like maybe she's
asexual.
Maybe a man has never given her an orgasm.
Yes.
And
maybe not even her.
No, she has.
Okay.
She's like, no, because he asks, he was like,
she's like, I'm really good at it at practice.
She's like, I can do it, but I've just never had a guy do it before. And listen, I want to read this to you.
Okay.
He goes, wait a minute. Realization must have dawned. You've got to be kidding me. Josh placed an urgent hand on her arm. Clara Wheaton, please tell me that a man has brought you to orgasm.
He's like a concerned friend.
Yeah.
That is concerning.
She goes, it is concerning. 27 years old, Jesus. It's not that some of them didn't try, she said. It just never happened, and I could tell that after a while they felt bad about it. It seemed more efficient and less awkward for all parties involved if I just took care of things myself. He looks at her, shakes his head. What a waste.
Hot. I would fuck this guy so quick.
It's crazy.
Actually, I don't know if I could.
She didn't know what to make of his reaction. He seemed almost angry. Perhaps he felt sorry for her. Well, she didn't need his pity. She gave him the withering stare she usually reserved for people who made snide remarks about her family. Excuse me, she sat up. I happen to bring myself to very satisfying orgasms. He goes, I'm sure you do, but that's not the same.
Yeah, good for you. What do you mean? Yeah.
Doesn't the thought of losing control excite you at all?
Yeah, this is a team sport, bitch.
Then he just starts saying shit.
Like what?
This got me. You see how far we
I do see.
This is what we like to see. We want instant spice.
Yeah.
So he just kept saying shit like...
Describing what he would do.
Yeah, he's just like, doesn't the thought of losing control excite you at all? Don't you ever ache for someone who doesn't care how bad you want it? Someone who doesn't grant you release until you're begging for it? And so she's getting hot and bothered.
You're getting hot and bothered. You are revved up. This is crazy.
Anyway, so she's getting revved up, okay?
Well, it's like she's fucking little loser musician, selfish pricks.
Right.
Like, no wonder.
He goes, Jesus, Clara, you've dated a bunch of lazy assholes if they get away with that shit.
New York types.
Sex isn't about efficiency. She goes, maybe not for you. And then he goes, you know what? No.
Get over here.
Stands up. She goes, no. He says, no. This is unacceptable. Take off your underwear.
Wait a minute.
Hot.
But is she going to be into that? I feel like she's going to be mad.
Oh, she definitely ain't mad.
I would be shaking, trembling. It would be...
I was trembling reading this book.
You need to call someone. Like,
the wheels would fall off.
Yeah, dude.
The wheels
I would pass out. My heart would beat so fast I would...
This hot man is looking at you, telling you to take your underwear off?
Because he's like, I'm going to make you orgasm.
Woo! I could take a drink of this iced tea.
I would be like, I already did. Sorry. Mission accomplished.
I'm already there.
I can't stand up. Like, talk to me like that.
Yeah. So then shit goes down.
I'm like, we cannot be roommates. I am so sorry. This is not going to work. I'm going to peel your skin off. I'm going to chain you up in the basement. I'm going to lose. I am not cool, bro.
I'm not chill.
I am not chill.
Okay, well, Claire's chill about it. And she tells him yes. And they're on the couch, and he does finger and mouth stuff over her underwear. She doesn't take her underwear off. And still gets her going. And
strong tongue.
Everything.
Strong
everything. And so...
But didn't he tell you to take
it's
underwear
off? It's a long
off?
build-up, though. I mean, it was several
Does that count
pages
as sex, or...
No.
That's a loophole, right?
Yeah, that's a loophole.
Yeah. Like, it's not cheating if it's over the pants.
For sure. Nah, it's cheating.
Only if you kiss.
So there's this giant buildup, and it's hot, and it's steamy, and it's smutty, and it's spicy, and she has a big ol' O. And then immediately she's like embarrassed because she's like, I can't believe I let myself go like that.
The post-nut clarity, I would have to leave.
She's feeling that way.
I would realize,
she wants to.
I would go, so, like, I have just been so vulnerable with the hottest person, and I am a monster, and I hate myself, and I'd run out of the room.
Totally. That's how she's feeling.
And he'd be super confused.
He was a little cold. He wasn't an asshole. I don't think he was an asshole at all. He was just kind of like, that's what I'm here for. And she was just so vulnerable that he wasn't really being an asshole.
He wasn't like cuddling.
He wasn't cuddling.
He was like, we just banged, like we did something and it's over.
I just wanted to do that for you, kind of a thing.
Yeah, it was a favor.
Yep.
Ooh, I don't like that.
So, but he's not being a real prick. He's really not being a prick about it.
I'm like spiraling about it. It's not even happening to me.
And it's not even happening to you?
He did it as a favor. It was a pity thing. I'm such a loser.
That's exactly what she thinks.
Oh my God. Well,
with your sister.
Yeah, with you.
And so.
Hot people are a menace.
That night she's laying in bed, she can't sleep, you know, they're in separate rooms, and like he can't sleep either. And so that he's got massive guilt. He's like, I should have been warmer to her. Like, if that was the first time for her, like, I should have been not so nonchalant about it. Which, yeah.
They didn't even kiss.
No, they did not kiss on the mouth.
I hate orgasms without kisses.
Same.
Call me old-fashioned.
That is old-fashioned.
That is old-fashioned. Sorry, I'm a romantic.
So he's also laying in bed thinking, because while he was doing it, he got a big old rager, you know.
I would hope so.
And he's like, do I have like a good girl kink or something? Like, why am I can't get this girl out of my head.
Well, I mean, I think it's just one of those things. It's like when you're having one thing so much, the opposite then becomes really good.
Yeah. So, but he's into her. Let's just say that. Let's just say he's like a little conflicted. Like, I can't believe I'm really like into this girl. I feel so bad that I was cold to her last night.
Maybe I should go knock on the door.
Not gonna happen. It's the next morning.
That's probably a good idea.
Clara decides she's like, I gotta go. I'm leaving. Going back to New York. See ya. I'm out. She packs her bags, goes. You know, he's still in his room. So, like, she's like, thank God he hasn't come out. I can just get a clean getaway. She's like, I do want to say bye to my Aunt Jill. So she goes to her PR firm to say goodbye. And when she gets there, her aunt's all flustered. And she's like, I'm sorry. My assistant just quit with absolutely no warning. I had no clue.
Oh, goodness.
And
she needs an assistant.
I have a meeting right now with the district attorney of Los Angeles.
Oh.
Her re-election is coming up.
Okay.
And she needs a publicist.
She did something bad. We got to bury a skeleton in a closet.
No, she did not. Her name's Toni, Toni.
So lesbian?
She's the DA. Could be. And so she's like, can you just sit in on this meeting and take notes while I meet with the DA, please? Yeah. And Claire's like, all right, fine.
I guess so. We are family.
I guess I will. We are family. And so she talks a little bit to the DA, and the DA seems to like her, and so it goes very well. And the aunt afterwards is like, you want a job?
Yeah.
You want to work here?
You want to just do that?
And obviously Claire's like, fuck no. I'm going back to New York right now. Sorry,
not I had an orgasm. I got to go.
And she did mention something. She was like, I fucked it up with Josh, my roommate.
Yeah.
And, meanwhile, she didn't.
No, but it got weird.
Well, she didn't have to be so weird. And neither did he.
Yeah.
I think they both...
He was less weird than she was.
Yeah, it's like, chill out, girl.
But...
It's okay.
I get it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I would have to go.
Jill is like, listen... You moved out here for a reason. You moved away for a reason. Just give it a chance.
Yeah, I guess so.
She goes,
the reason was to take a year off.
She goes, some fears are meant to be addressed. If you're uncomfortable, she's like, just stay for a week. Work with me for a week.
Yeah.
You know, just
maybe you'll like PR.
Try it. She's like, all right, I will. But the problem is it's like a 40-minute commute both ways, and I don't drive. And she goes, well, again, some fears are maybe meant to be addressed. Maybe you try and get over that fear of driving and try.
In LA, though?
I know, right? That's
that's
throwing it.
End.
Yeah.
It's like maybe what New York might be worse, I guess, which is where she's from. But
so we find out that when she was a teenager, she caused an accident that fucked up her brother. Like, broken bone. I mean, he's in jail now.
Fine, though?
Yeah, he's fine.
Did he get addicted to prescription pills or something because of it? Oh.
She just it just traumatized her. So she doesn't like to drive.
I mean, whatever. I don't like to drive, and I haven't done any weird shit like that.
Yeah. So she goes back to the house, and Josh is there, and they're just like, they're like, I'm sorry for being weird. she's made the decision to stay, so she's got to try and make it not awkward.
Good
and he's
luck.
like, I'm sorry. And she's like, I'm sorry. And so she says, I got a new job with my aunt. The only thing is like, I need to drive and, you know, blah, 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 blah. Can you give me driving lessons?
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
He agrees to give her.
Does she need a car then?
He has one. She does need a car, but what their deal is they're going to work it out where she's just going to practice and then still like Uber.
Yeah.
Until she feels comfortable to drive on her own, which will take some time. He's like, well, let's go out for a spin, you know, let's go. So they're driving around and he opens up to her about his shitty contract with Black Hat Studios and how he can't get out of it. And she's like, well, what else maybe would you want to do with your life? Like, what else are you good at? And
I want to be an actor.
Well, when she says, what else are you good at? He like put his hand on her knee and like in this like very sexual way. And she's like, I know you're good at that stuff. What else are you good at? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so like
other than
cutesy.
Big O's.
Yeah, so it's like cutesy. They're flirting with each other hard. And they're opening up to each other.
Okay. But does he say what else he wants to do?
He says, well, I like production. So maybe I could do something in production after this contract is up. I don't know. He's like, I like working in the industry. I'm just trying to emphasize how flirty they're being.
Yeah,
you know?
They're driving around being flirty. That's a flirty time. They're going to end up at a lover's lane.
They will. So.
Oh, God, I'm so good.
You are too good. A couple weeks goes by, and Josh is keeping his word of not filming. He's like sticking it to the man.
Oh,
fuck my contract. Like, I'm not filming.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he met his quota for the year, though. It's like, what are you going to do?
Yep. So he's kind of bored. Like, he doesn't have much to do. So he's a little bit latching on to Clara. Yeah. He's, like, driving her to the PR firm in the morning, picking her up in the afternoon.
Well, he's got nothing better to do.
Or letting her drive. One day, Clara is going over some documents for the district attorney of LA, Tony. And she finds a lawsuit that Tony had filed years ago, but nothing ever came of it, against Black Hat Studios.
Oh, she's going to bring him down.
For unsafe working conditions, sexual harassment, wrongful termination, all this stuff. And she's looking at these documents on the couch at home with Josh. She's like, mentions it to him, and he goes, well, I mean, people were probably scared to come forward. They probably didn't have enough witnesses. I'm sure they intimidated witnesses. So nothing ever came of that, you know? So that's just sitting there. We'll put that.
That's a little something that has happened.
Yeah, we'll put that on the back burner.
That'll be growing in the background.
They just decide to watch a movie that night, and they're just like cuddling up on the couch, getting closer and closer. But nothing happens.
Okay.
But they've got good banter. I will say one thing in this book, good banter.
Well, that's important.
It is important.
That's really important.
They really are just, I'm telling you, it's like we got that instant spice, and then it's a little more of a build-up because they're just getting to know each other. Yeah. And they're around each other all the time. A few days later, Josh has a meeting with Benny at the studio to talk about some new contract, whatever demands. Okay. He ends up meeting with Benny and this piece of shit named H.D. Pruitt, who tells him he's offer stance and he's gonna make his life a living hell if he doesn't say yes to doing this hardcore shit, whatever that may be.
I don't like that whole thing that's going on.
Well, they're pieces of shit.
Well, it just seems like weird too that like this really mainstream porn star who's like being written up in like mainstream BuzzFeed like cutesy places are writing.
You want him to go into hardcore.
You want him to make the jump into hardcore because you won't renegotiate a bad contract he has when like I'm sure the studio would play ball.
You think?
They would do something more than $5,000.
He's like, I will increase whatever you've made on this contract. I'll increase it 4 times over for you to move into this hardcore shit.
I'm just like, hardcore, what do you mean? Because if I'm on Pornhub and I'm hitting the hardcore category, it's like not that crazy.
I don't know what it means, Paul, but let's just put it this way. It's enough for him to be like, that's not my thing and I'm not going to do it.
Because I'm like, if it's like hardcore, we're cutting people up, we're fucking...
I don't know, man.
You know, putting things in places.
Den of Vipers shit.
Den of Vipers shit. It's like, okay, I'm not doing that. And it's like, no, I'm not desperate enough.
No, but he does say, like, I will blacklist you. If you do not renew your contract with me and keep working for Black Hat, even after this, I will blacklist you. And you will not work in this. You'll never be able to find work. The entertainment industry
is so corrupt.
It really is.
And it's true.
And
this is how it goes.
This is how it goes. And so Josh is like, fuck. He's like, but I can't do it. So that he goes home and he tells Claire about this. He's like, I'm going to be blacklisted. Yeah. I'm freaking the fuck out about it.
Which should also be illegal.
Yeah, but
yeah, it's not because
happens.
It's kind of like an undocumented thing. You're just like, oh, we don't hire that person.
So they sit and they talk for hours and they're like, we've got to come up with something that you can do for yourself. There's got to be some loophole, something. So they find out, and I don't know how true this is. Let's remember it's a book. They think they found a loophole in his contract where he doesn't have voiceover work exclusivity to Black Hat. They've talking about how they want porn to be sex positive. They want women to have orgasms more. They want...
So he's going to do like ASMR porn?
No.
Oh.
So they decide, him and Clara together, that they're going to make... with their help with everyone he knows in the industry and Naomi, his ex-girlfriend. Okay. They're going to make a site, like a porn site. Yeah. But it's going to be sex positive, artsy, sexy, where Naomi and Josh, because they're the moment now, will be narrating what the actors are doing and being like, then you do, you know what I'm saying?
I do get that.
Women like men who talk you through it.
Well, that's the all whole women thing, want. The like description, the verbal.
That's more what men don't understand. But anyway,
you got to talk, idiot.
You do.
You don't just grunt.
You don't just grunt. You have to talk.
Yeah.
But men don't know that, so they're gonna make this.
Josh knows that.
Josh knows that. Oh boy, does he know that! And so that's the plan they've devised.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Clara is like, I want to be the full silent investor. I have a trust fund back home and I'm willing to...
That's right.
...invest in this. Because, she's gotten to know Josh for about a month. She really likes him.
Yeah, he made her
Yeah, exactly.
Hello.
Which is all it takes. That's kind of the big news. And they get Naomi on board, and she says she'll only be on board if Clara works with her every day, finding actors, finding directors. She wants Clara involved in the daily process, which Clara...
Just to quit her job.
No, she's staying on the PR.
She's fucking gonna burn herself out.
But she agrees to it. And obviously, Naomi and Josh are thinking, we've got huge social media followings and fan bases, so we think this could be successful.
Well, in theory, it would be really easy to make that successful if you're the moment right now.
For sure. So let's see here.
I mean, I don't know how strong that loophole is. I think they should definitely call a lawyer about that.
Yeah.
But
like voiceover work? I don't know. Because he would still be working exclusively for himself.
Isn't that still, like, competition, though? Like, if he has a non-compete?
I don't know, man. So now it's been probably like a week and a half, but they're getting the ball rolling. Claire had never seen this many topless people outside the south of France. It had taken her 2 weeks to register their new business.
All of my vacationing in the south of France.
Open a bank account, obtain all the necessary licenses and permits mandated by California law, but they were finally ready to start recruiting performers for their yet untitled project.
What are they going to call it?
By the way, 2 more weeks of lying to her mother about spending all her free time visiting art museums and so she's just trying to keep her mom at bay, by the way, this whole time.
I get it.
So we're at the first day of casting. It's Naomi, Josh, and Clara, and that one actress is walking in, and Naomi's like, Clara, why don't you take the lead on instructing this actor what to do? The audition instructions say, and Clara has a really hard time saying it out loud, remove all your clothes and bring yourself to orgasm. And so the girl's doing it, and Clara's like, I don't like this, and runs out. She's like, I'm sorry, it's not you, it's me, and runs out.
Freaking out.
She's like, this is a lot. This is a lot. And so Josh runs after her. He's like, I'm sorry, I know this is probably like a lot for you.
Yeah.
As a prude.
This is deep end.
Her nickname back home, by the way, is like Clara the Prude Wheaton.
Got her.
Got her.
Got her. Those bullies are smart.
So they have a moment out there where he's like holding her and holding her hands, and he's like, I'm so sorry. And he's like brushing. They're just brushing. There's so many times they're talking in each other's...
sorry.
Yes.
I just am so sorry.
Talking in each other's ears all the time. But they still have not kissed.
They're just very intimate.
They're very intimate.
That's all very intimate.
She's like, no, I'm cool. I'm fine. I need to get over this. I'm passionate about this project. And if I'm passionate about it, then I need to be able to...
Just think about it as art.
There you go.
You know, you're from the art world.
Yes.
Art is nude. Art makes you feel something.
That's goddamn right. Yeah. It does, Paul.
Come on, Clara.
Come on, Clara. So she goes back in, and it's fine. Then a couple days later, he takes her to a sex shop, and they're, just buying things. And she's like, what's this for? What's this for? What's this for? What does this do?
Most everything goes inside you.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise. And he's like, damn, I wish I could use all this on her.
Yeah.
He's
I'd like to show you what this does.
He's like, oh, wouldn't you like to know? Half the pleasure in kissing is the buildup, the obsessing over the other person's mouth, thinking about the shape of his lips and the taste of his tongue, imagining his hands in your hair, or the way he'll hold you. She stopped and turned toward him.
Excuse me, the feeling of the beard?
The beard?
Excuse me,
Ooh.
that must be mentioned. The feeling of facial hair against my face. Ooh. Ooh.
You're getting into it.
I just can't stop.
You can spend a whole night wondering if he's ever going to pull you in unexpectedly and capture your breath in the middle of a sentence, or lean in so slowly one morning that the wanting curls your toes.
Maybe not the morning. My breath is rank.
Maybe not the morning. Josh dug his nails into his palm hard enough to leave marks. His body didn't care that she was describing pining for another man, Everett Bloom. He had no trouble pretending that all the he's in her sentences would be replaced with his name.
Oh.
So
he's hooked.
He's been hooked. He's very into her.
But is he giving up on Naomi?
Yeah, it's never going to work out.
Good.
They're
Does
better
she
off
know?
as business partners. Yeah, they do.
They are
She
good.
knows
They
too.
have an adult conversation about that?
They do.
Okay, good.
But obviously in these, month and a half, almost 2 months that they've been together, she's told Josh, look, I'm in fucking love with Everett and he doesn't give two fucks about me.
Yeah.
And so Josh is like...
I'd be like, well, you had never had an orgasm from a man, so I don't really, trust that you're forever in love with this guy.
True. But meanwhile, he's thinking, well, she's in love with Everett and she's never going to be in love with me because I'm a porn star and it can never work because her family's highfalutin, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Story miscommunication. Typical.
There wouldn't be a story without it.
Yeah, there wouldn't be a story without it. So, they're at this sex shop. They're just dripping with flirtation on each other. What were you looking at just now?
This sticker that says, it's lights out and
it's
away
for
we go.
Formula One.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't get that.
You're like, what is that?
I was like, what is this, like a smut thing? You're flip those lights out and we're ready to go. That was just fucking vibrator, appreciation post.
Stop. Stupid ass.
It's lights out and
God,
here we go.
It really can apply to both.
Well, it's this is what we're talking about. It's on my mind.
This is what we're talking about. I'm going to skip over a few things because it's not really anything that moves the plot along. We get to a point where they're at home. She just cannot handle how bad she wants to fuck this guy.
Yeah.
She's finally at the point where she's like, I can't handle it.
Yeah, it's a do it or I gotta go.
Something's gotta give. And she's just fantasizing about him all day, every day. One night, Josh is in his room and he's writing scenarios.
Yeah.
Writing plots, whatever. And he comes out of his room. He's like, I've written something.
And it's they were roommates.
He's like, let me read this. I want to read this to you. Hot. And so...
Whoa.
Sorry.
Whoa.
Sorry. I found it.
She found a good spot.
I was looking for it and I found it. What he's written is about a new couple who haven't had sex yet. And they're telling each other what they like. The girl's talking to the guy through it. Lady porn. And so Clara's on the couch like this.
Yeah.
She's slack-jawed.
Yeah.
Listening to Josh say these words. And she's just like,
yeah.
I mean,
needs to excuse herself.
Basement is flooded.
It's ruined.
Right. He looks up from his computer and looks at her after reading and goes, we could try it.
Oh, okay. I guess if you wanna.
The exercise, if you wanted to, it's normal to be overstimulated when you first take up pleasure as a profession. When I got into the business, my dick practically fell off from all the solo sessions. I needed to take the edge off.
Okay, Josh. Okay, Josh.
I'd be like, you can't say these things to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go.
Clara goes, I have noticed an increase in my...
What?
desire. She goes, I suppose in a sense we have an obligation as the creative leads to make sure what we're suggesting works.
I agree.
I couldn't agree more.
It's for business.
We wouldn't want to show up on set with the performers we're paying and waste their time with something that hasn't gone through vetting.
I would never ask my performer to do something I wouldn't do. And that's just integrity.
There you go. He goes, right, it's not like we'd be having sex. They're just going to...
practice.
Well, so the scene is just
parallel play.
Masturbation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shit goes down.
Well,
it's finally 2 chapters. It's
2 chapters.
2 chapters of smut.
I mean, what does it look like when men and women
so good
do parallel play?
Well, so she's just on the couch and he's telling her what to do.
Okay.
And then he's
jerking it.
Oh yeah.
Because when gay dudes do it, it's just arm over each other, couple of buds, and we're just stroking.
Obviously.
That doesn't seem like how you guys do it.
They're doing dirty talk for sure. And yeah, it's just like, great, you know, still haven't kissed each other yet.
I hate that.
I know.
Actually, I loathe that. That's like the worst for me.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, you must kiss.
What
I
about
love
what
kissing.
about the build-up, though?
Yeah, the build-up and then the kiss.
Anticipation that we haven't kissed
No,
yet.
if we're jerking and coming and doing stuff,
yeah,
we need to have kissed.
Yeah, I mean, I
need that.
I don't disagree with you.
I need that.
I don't disagree with you. However, I do see the hotness in the build-up. Maybe it's because I read the book.
Yeah, maybe it's because you read the book.
This happens. They're chill about it. She doesn't freak out finally.
Good for
and
her.
They're in the studio a couple days later, and she sees Josh like lying on the ground, like position. He's like, she goes, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I think they framed this shot all wrong. Now I have to like redo all the gaffer tape on the floor."
Oh yeah.
Because they framed it wrong. He's like, "Go look at the camera, see if you can see my feet." She's like, "No, I can only see your knees." He's like, "Yeah, they fucked this shit up." He's like, "I need to retape everything." But he's like, "So I need to like do the position so I can X marks the spot on the floor."
Oh, so they can hit their marks.
So
he's just like, ah.
Yeah, he's like on all four.
Yeah,
no,
dude.
He's like, "Why don't?" She's like, "Well, I could help you." He's like, "Well, I don't really need your help because I can just do that." She's like, "But I'll still help you."
Yeah, I'm like, stop, you're not picking it up.
So they're like doing sex positions, you know, like in this studio.
Yeah.
To X marks the spot. They've got clothes on, but obviously they're being very sensual about it. They're being very hot about it. At one point, they start like dry humping each other
to get the marks.
Obviously, to mark the tape. And in walks Naomi, and Clara's like just about to finish.
If there's one thing Clara loves, it's finishing through her pants. That's one thing I've learned. She's got a cloth fetish or something.
So in walks Naomi, and Naomi's like, "Oh, okay, so this is what's going on between you two."
I would have started laughing hysterically. But
I would have too. They're
just
dry
me.
humping.
Yeah,
It's
I would just be like, "Are you playing
comedy.
Twister? Like, what's going on?"
What are you doing? But Clara takes off, and Naomi is pissed because she didn't know that anything was going on with them. Granted, they're not
her
getting,
business.
I know, it's not her business. They're not getting back together.
Yeah.
But she's pissed because Clara is their money guy.
Yeah, it's like you're sleeping with the...
Right. So she's looking at Josh and she's saying, when you fuck this up with Clara, she can pull our funding. You're going to...
We lose our whole website. We lose our freedom from these motherfuckers. All right, well, she is right about that. And they should have maybe been a little bit upfront that, like, they're doing stuff.
Totally. So she makes him, in that night, swear he'll never do anything with Clara.
Oh, no. Mm-hmm. Well, now that's so much hotter. How dare she?
Forbidden fruit.
If anything, she should have been like, you have to fuck her every night.
Right. For sure.
Now I don't want it.
Yeah. A few days goes by, like 3 days, and Josh has been distant.
And Clara's going to think that it's like her.
And obviously she's sick over it. Clara's sick over it.
If I was Josh, I would have just been like, hey, like I had this conversation with homegirl and she's like not cool with it, so I think we should cool it until we get things going.
Yeah, Paul, that's what an adult would do.
Or I would say, let's just lie.
That's really what I would do.
Yeah. So we can't tell anybody.
Yeah, that's really what you do. Me too. Oh God, the forbiddenness.
I'm not gonna fuck this dude. Yeah, get out of here,
please. One day he doesn't come home, and obviously she thinks the worst of it. She's jumping to conclusions. Blah blah blah. It's the next morning after, and so she hasn't slept at all.
It's too horned up.
The next morning is the official like proposal that her and her Aunt Jill are going to present to Tony, the DA, and say, "This is how I think we should approach your re-election campaign. Okay. This is how I should, this is their proposal." Clara's running late. She can't find an Uber. The bus is running late.
She's going to have to drive.
It's a series of unfortunate events. Jill's like, "Well, you have the copy of the proposals. You need to come in."
We don't have a PDF.
Print them at her office, but whatever. So Clara steals Josh's car. And by the way,
borrows without permission, I think.
Borrows without permission.
Yeah.
And by the way, it is like his prized possession. It is like an old Corvette that his grandfather gave. It's like a...
Okay,
it's special. It's a thing. And lo and behold, as she's driving, boom, she gets hit. Sideswipe. Yep, it wasn't her fault.
It's her fault she took the car.
It's her fault she took the car. So we just have her waking up in a hospital now.
Oh, like that kind of got hit.
That kind of got hit.
I thought you were just saying like got a little...
Nope. That kind of got hit. She's waking up and Josh is standing right there.
Pissed.
With a bouquet of flowers.
Oh.
He's like holding her hand. She's just like, "I am so sorry." She's immediately filled with shame.
I would be too.
Oh, I'd be like, "Don't fucking look at me. I can't look at you."
Yeah.
She's like, "I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah." He goes, he's like, "Am I pissed that you took my car without asking?" "Yeah, I am. But I am so much more worried that you are okay."
He is lady
that
porn.
Nothing has happened to... He is lady porn.
He's saying everything I want to hear.
Literally.
You know.
love this man.
Yeah.
I am in love with this man.
Yeah, because it's like, I had to do something and it was bad and you forgive me.
Yep.
Because you care about me first.
Yep. She leaves the hospital. He takes them home, obviously in like an Uber because his car's crashed.
Yeah.
And she's got whiplash, her rib, she's all fucked up, you know?
Yeah.
And like the next day goes by and she's like trying to get in the shower, but she can't get in the shower. Uh-oh. Wonder what's going to happen next. And he's like, please just let me help you. Mm-hmm. She does. And he's like, all right, I'm going to try and be chill and not get a raging boner because I'm just trying to help you out. But obviously he does.
We're just animals, man.
Mm-hmm. And so he's like in the shower and there's a very hot scene where he's just like washing her hair and being very sensual. Lady porn.
But are they like naked in the shower together? The water's on them?
He's left his boxer briefs on. She's naked because she has to get clean.
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm not going to get fully naked because I want to try and just like be chill.
So they have just a shower, not a bath?
It's a shower tub.
Okay. So shouldn't she just like sit in it and he could help wash her? Whatever. I'm fine. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do this.
Yep. I don't need to do this. Anyway, basically this whole shower scene is just edging the fuck out of me because nothing happens, but it's so hot at the same time. It's so hot. And so a few days goes by and he's been babying her, nursing her. Then one day she gets a big, huge bouquet of flowers delivered.
And it's from this fuckboy, whatever his name is.
And it's from Everett. So then that whatever doesn't like make her immediately be like, oh, but she does go in her room and get her little box of Everett mementos and is like going through them and looking at them. Well, she put creepy. Yeah. She put the note that came with the flowers in that box.
Hey Arnold. It's very Hey Arnold.
Oh my lord, creepy. And so Josh comes home and sees that, and it's also got pictures of like her, you know, and they're, by the way, they still haven't actually had sex, but or kissed. But however, they've been more intimate with each other than they've ever been with anyone else.
Yeah, they've shared things and opened up.
And so finally, after seeing that, Josh just goes, if this fucking guy isn't thinking about you from the time it's a whole speech. Paul.
He says a whole.
It's a whole speech.
They all, you know, it's the speech.
It's the speech. He's like, that guy is so dumb if he doesn't realize what he had with you or what he could have had with you and blah, 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 blah. And if he doesn't dream about you and all this sappy shit. And professes his feelings for her. And she's like, you seriously like me? Like, are you really that into me?
You like me?
Uh-huh.
I'm like, yeah, we've done a lot of stuff together.
For sure. And they finally, after she was like, do you really feel that way about me? Do you really love me? And he says yes. And they kiss.
Finally, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So they kiss, and then it's just like they describe this kiss for like a whole page.
Oh well, I mean,
it's amazing.
We've been waiting a whole book for it.
And it's about to go down now.
Yeah.
She looks at him and she's like,
"I'd like you to do what you did in these videos.
Yes,
here's a playlist. I'd like you to remember."
She looks at him and she's like, "We're about to have sex, aren't we?" And he goes, "Oh yeah." We're definitely about to have sex.
Bust it open.
And he does. He busts it open.
Okay.
For a good
for him.
A while.
Good for her.
Yeah.
And he takes his time and he's sensual and he makes the lady come first. That's great.
And several times.
Yeah.
And it goes on for a good 3 chapters.
Thank God.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep. Very, very, very good. And so they go to, it's like now they're in their afterglow and he's like, well, let's go get something to eat.
Yeah. So I'm starving.
Yeah. So they go out to a diner. It's 1, 2, 3 in the morning. And
because they've been fucking all night.
And he just is like on the brink of being like,
I love you.
I'm falling in love with you. And the waitress sets the food down and he stops, cuts him off. The next day, they have tickets to go see Rocky, Sylvester Stallone, in an old LA theater.
Yeah.
And they go and they're on this date and it's going perfectly and beautifully. And then after the movie, they're in reception, whatever, the lobby, whatever.
Yeah.
And you hear Clara, and she turns around, and it's Tony, the DA.
Oh.
And Tony's like, "Is this your man?"
Yeah.
And she goes, "No. He was just. I just asked him where the bathroom is. I'm not with him."
This raging cunt. I knew it.
Paul, I almost cried when I read that. I said, "You're gonna do that to Josh.
After you're starting your own porn website and now all of a sudden you're too fucking good.
And I'm going to tell you, she said it like 5 times in a row. She's like, no, 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 no. And Josh is like, every no that came out of her mouth was like a fucking dagger to the heart.
Yeah, I just fucked my love into her.
Mm-hmm. He's never felt this way about a woman ever.
I did not expect that.
Neither did I.
I did not expect that.
I almost cried.
I thought she was going to be like all about it. Like, finally, I got this dude. Who cares?
Total denying.
I didn't think that she had like shame about it.
I thought she's, you know, there's a lot behind it because it's the DA, there's scandal. What if there's whatever. That's just what she's thinking.
Bad. She's a bad person. She's not a good person. She's a bad person.
That's, a really bad thing
person.
to do. Bad thing to do.
Bad person.
And so she goes, I was just asking him where the bathroom is, right, sir? And he goes, oh, yeah. And turns around and walks out of the theater.
And goes home and leaves and never comes back and never talks to her again.
And so obviously he's walking to his car.
Naomi was right.
And here she comes running. Josh, wait. I'm so sorry. I just trying to justify.
I can't believe that.
He feels like his heart has fallen out of his ass.
How could he not?
And I tell you, I was not pleased in this moment.
I'm pissed. I'm pissed.
Dude, can you believe that?
No, I'm like, what a weird, crazy, horrible, fucked up thing to do.
Right.
For no reason. The DA might not even know. I mean, she probably does, but him.
You know, he's used to people judging him for what he does, but
not her.
He was like, I really can't handle her being embarrassing me like that. So whatever, a couple days goes by. Actually, no, I think it's maybe it's the next day. They're on set, and Josh is just like trying to steer clear of her. He's trying to be cordial, but really just steering clear of her, and he is heartbroken. He gets a call from Benny.
So he's gonna do hardcore now.
No.
My heart's broken, so...
Of course not.
Put a fucking horse's dick in my ass.
Paul, that's what a piece of shit would do, and Josh is not a piece of shit, remember?
I guess so.
There's a reason why we're so upset, because we love Josh.
We love Josh. He's so hot.
So, Benny calls and is like, hey, just want you to know that Pruitt has fired this girl and this guy, whatever their names are. They won't be invited back for more work in the future. And meanwhile... those are 2 people that Josh have worked with forever. I think one's his makeup artist, and I think one was an editor. So they're now starting to fire people that Josh likes. They're blackmailing Josh.
They're like, we're going to ruin other people's lives because of you, and he's a good guy.
Yep.
So he's going to do hardcore.
So Josh is just like, this is getting insane. You know, they're blackmailing me now, firing good people who I know live paycheck to paycheck, and this just can't go on. And Clara says to him, just listen, we're about to launch. Just wait it out. I know this is horrible what they're doing, but we're about to launch. Just stick it out and let's see how this thing works. Like, don't give up and sign a new contract with them just yet. I know you want to. Maybe there's a chance that we can hire those people on here. So they decide to do that. A few days go by and they've got their first campaign event with the DA. And after the event, and it goes all well, but then after the event, Tony pulls Clara aside and she... hands Clara like an article. She's like, I found this.
Okay.
And it's an article that was just recently written about the website, which, by the way, they're launching the website. It's going to be called Shameless.
Okay.
And it's an article about Shameless that mentions New York Upper West Side socialite Clara Wheaton privately funding.
Yeah.
So her name's out in public now.
Was it a fucking... she
wanted to be a private silent investor.
I don't care about her or her opinions or her thoughts or her feelings.
Now the DA is like, I can't have you working on my campaign.
Okay, bye.
Because you're...
Well, I have a trust fund and I'm rich. I was doing this as a favor.
Yeah.
Okay, bye. I'm furious.
Yeah. So Clara's upset, but she's like, you're right, I'll step down. Like, I can't.
Well, then it's a good thing you were such a fucking asshole at the theater.
For nothing.
To quit the job the next day.
Mm-hmm. So she goes home, and Josh is there. And she was like, did you tell someone my name?
The audacity on this bitch. This is blowing my mind. What gives you the right? Who do you think you are?
Your hair. Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
I love it.
Cowlick.
Josh is like, no, of course not. I would never do that to you.
I'm a good guy, not a piece of shit like you.
but this is clearly something that Benny and Black Hat and Pruitt did. Like, this has their name written all over it. They, want
to sabotage the website any way they can.
Any way they can. So in that moment, they're having a conversation. It's all come to a head now. So he flexed his fingers at his side. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not sorry. Wasn't the whole point of Shameless that women shouldn't be punished for seeking pleasure and their partners shouldn't be ashamed about wanting to learn how to give it to them? Wasn't that... I love your hand.
Hello? Like, hello? He's making points.
Right. He goes, wasn't that your whole sermon? When are you going to stop acting like a hypocrite and start practicing what you preach?
Amen.
We love Josh's.
Yeah, read her to filth.
I believe in the site as much as I did yesterday, but believing that doesn't change who I am. It doesn't mean I'm ready to leave everything else I love behind. The second my mother hears about this, Josh shut his eyes and tipped his head back. Would you stop hiding behind your family? You're a grown woman, Clara. You're 27 years old, for crying out loud.
I would disagree. She doesn't sound grown to me.
Who cares if your mom gets mad? I care. So they do all this stuff, and then at the end, he goes, why did you sleep with me? And she goes, I don't know. He goes, yes, you do.
Yeah.
Own up to it.
You dumb
And she's
bitch.
like, I wanted to. I'm attracted to you. He goes, so it was just sex? And she goes, yes.
It was just my hot bod.
Which she's lying. She's lying. It wasn't just sex. She's in love with him.
Maybe it is because she's a cold, heartless, unfeeling monster.
No, she is in love with him. So he's hurt at that, and he lashes out in this moment.
Read her to filth.
Which he deserves to lash out a little bit. He's so hurt. What she did to him with,
We're simping for Josh.
So hard. He says, you're not really upset over losing your job or about ending Tony Granger's campaign. You're terrified that someone might find out what you're really ashamed of in this situation. The Greenwich in you is wondering if I'm lying right now. I know you can't help but ask yourself, what if I told the reporters your name? Or worse, what if I stuck my tongue behind my teeth and described the way you taste on record? You said it yourself, you want to make your mother proud, and the last thing she would want is to hear about her baby girl fucking a porn star. She goes, I never should have slept with you. And he goes, oh, now don't be like that.
Oh, so now he's being kind of a dick.
Uh-huh. We both know why you did it, so that years from now, when your rich, red-faced husband climbs on top of you under the covers, you can close your eyes and remember writhing on my cock.
Read her to filth. Oh my God. I was like, the first part, I was like, whatever you're going to tell people you guys made out. That part? So you can remember my fucking dick when you're getting...
Yep.
Humped by your gross, rich, old husband.
Yep. And she goes, what is wrong with you? Runs out, packs her bags. It's over.
Got her.
Got her.
Good. The library is open.
Wasn't
and
that
you
crazy?
Have been read.
Wasn't that crazy, Paul?
Yeah.
He, in that moment, gets in his car and is just driving around. Next thing you know, he ends up at his mom's house, who he hasn't spoken to in 2 years, when he came out as a porn star.
She didn't like it.
That's what he thought. But so he looks up and he's like, I'm home. I wasn't even trying to drive home. And he looks over and he sat there for a while. He looks over, his mom's just kind of standing in the doorway. He end up like sobs.
Yeah.
She like hugs him and he just missed her so much and he starts sobbing. I never should have stayed away too long. And she's like, yeah, you shouldn't have. And by the way, when you told me that you were a porn star, I had a moment. Yes. But then you left, adjust. And the next day you disconnected your phone number and moved. And so...
Okay, drama queen.
Yeah. He thought she was... whatever. And hasn't talked to her in 2 years. So that's bad on his... That's really bad on his part.
Yeah, that's a little crazy.
Yeah, it is.
That's a little crazy.
Well, internalized insecurity.
Like, unless she like freaked out and started screaming at him or something, I would have just... He
was projecting, in my opinion. Yeah. He was projecting. So that's good news there. They make up. It's very sweet. Absolutely love it. And then it cuts to Claire and what she's up to. She
being a bitch.
Has decided to surprise Everett on his last leg of the tour in Las Vegas.
Good. I hope that she shows up and finds him in bed with like 3 girls and a couple dudes.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
whoops.
Oh, whoops.
I'm in an orgy.
Yeah. Stupid. I hate her.
So she like gets to this bar that he's playing at and he's there and they're sitting outside and they have a heart-to-heart and she's like, I've been in love with you for 13, 14 years. And he's like, I
don't love you.
He's like, I know.
Yeah, I take advantage of it all the time.
He was like, I didn't want to lose you as a friend. Our families were so connected. I just didn't know what to do. And he's like, I'm sorry. I was a piece of shit to you for a decade, and I'm really sorry. And in that moment, she's just like, I thought when I saw Everett, I would get butterflies. I would feel something. She's like, but all I can think about is Josh and what he's doing.
Well,
right
you
now.
Don't deserve love or happiness.
Ooh, Paul, come on. You got to come around a little bit.
I'll support whatever Josh decides to do.
Okay.
Because I'm on his team.
Okay. Yeah,
but
I agree.
she is dead to me.
Yeah, I'm not on Clara's team. She's not dead to me because I feel like I get it a little bit. But Josh,
she's mortally wounded.
We're team Josh.
She's bleeding out.
She's dead.
Bleeding out to me.
She doesn't even exist.
Not yet.
Oh,
not until Josh decides she does again.
She's like, I just need to be with Josh for the rest of my life. I'm going to go back to LA and get Josh. So
he's moved on.
So the next,
and he's happy now.
It's one day
and
later.
He's with a man, and it's me.
So it's the next day, and they're at like a LA morning radio show. It's something that Clara planned, so like she knew they would be there that morning. So the host keeps bringing Clara up in the interview with, it's Naomi and Josh, by the way, and she kept saying like, I'm more interested in this New York socialite private backer Clara Wheaton. We want to talk about like what's going on with that situation, blah blah blah. And finally Josh, after a million times being like, I don't want to talk about Clara, I don't want to talk about Clara, we're not talking about Clara, finally he gets up, he's like, I'm out of here. You will not stop.
I won't talk about her. I'm out. And I get that.
So he gets up. You can picture this in your head. Very, very rom-com. He gets up, turns around, and there she is in the studio.
Obviously.
And she comes in and is like, I need to tell you something. And he goes, you want to tell me something now?
On air?
And they're like, the on-air line is... So she's like, yes, I do. I want to tell you something
If I was the radio host, I would be like, don't stop her.
Oh, for sure.
No
you
one
shut
stop
the fuck
her.
up.
I'm pointing my microphone that
way. That is totally what's happening. She goes, I know what I said happened between us was just sex. Josh's eyes shot around the room at their spectators. He had zero clue what was happening or whether it was good. Still, the word sex on Clara's lips was enough to make him half-hard. Naomi sat up straight in her chair. There goes that secret.
It's getting good.
Uh-huh. And Clara continued, but our relationship is so much more than that. I came to tell you, and apparently a bunch of strangers listening, that I'm in love with you. Josh's heartbeat slammed in his ears. He bit his tongue.
I wish he says I don't love you.
Oh, get over
No, I'm just saying I'm peeking down that path of what it could look like, and wow, burn, gotcha.
And I don't blame you.
But that's not what's gonna happen. And whatever, I guess like good for her for doing this radio thing, but I'm mad and I'm still mad.
First, and you're allowed to be. I don't blame you. I'm sorry, I was too scared to accept it before. I always thought love was supposed to make you itchy, a crawling out of your skin kind of obsession. I thought love was synonymous with pining and longing, that it had to hurt. Josh could read between the lines. She meant, I thought love looked like Everett Bloom. Man, he fucking hated that guy.
Clara, honestly, she seems a little hung up still. I'm still like...
Clara took a deep breath and said, but love isn't like that. At least not for me. Loving you is like sinking into a warm bath after a long lifetime of feeling cold to my bones.
Oh. Love is patient.
Love is kind. And so she just keeps going, like professing, saying all these beautiful things. Josh is like getting teary-eyed. And
he's an emotional guy.
He is, and I love that. Good for him. We love emotional maturity.
That's why he makes like such good lady porn.
It feels like it's impossible for a man to be emotionally mature in this world. I'm just saying.
Speaking as a man, it's true.
Yeah, thank you. And then she goes at the very end of her speech into the microphone. She goes, although I want it to be very clear that the sex is unbelievable.
Yeah, he puts a dough.
She goes, better than it looks on screen. Yeah. Seriously, you have no idea.
Yeah, you all have to try this.
He kisses her, blah, 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 blah. He's like, let's get out of here. And so they leave, and then they get off into a stairwell and fuck in the stairwell. They couldn't wait. And let me tell you.
A lot of people keep walking by.
It was hot. Okay. No, it was hot. It was a hot
stair sex
Hot
scene.
stair sex, yeah.
I mean, that is hot. Public building stuff, good time.
Yeah. Well, she even said, oh, this public sex thing is
all it's
been hyped up to be.
Yeah.
Right after they bone, Jill is like, you got to get down here. Please come down to my office, blah, blah, blah. And so Tony's there. And Tony's like, hey, Clara, I know like 2 days ago or whatever, I fired you. But she's like, there's something I want to talk to you about. So apparently the night before, while Clara was in Vegas and after Josh made up with his mom, he paid the DA a visit. And he gave her a flash drive.
Night of her life. Oh.
Gave her a flash drive. Apparently, him and Naomi and other people have been compiling shit
Got him.
On Black Hat.
Got him.
Got him.
Reopen the case. Got him.
Reopen the case. Tony's like, I've got at least 30 counts of all kinds of different shit here. Josh has agreed to be a character witness on the stand, testify. We're going to take these fuckers down, and I think this is the high-profile case my re-election needs. Yep. She's like, and if you want to come back on my campaign, you're more than welcome.
It would actually be great.
Yeah.
Huge help.
Totally. Clara's just like, I can't believe you would do this. Like, why didn't you tell me you were doing this? And he was like, well, I didn't tell you because I knew if I told you, I'd have to go through with it. And I wanted you to be, I needed to do this for myself. He's like, I'm not doing this for you.
Good. You shouldn't really do a lot for her.
He was like, I'm doing this for the sex workers who have been exploited by this company for all these years. He goes, well, and then he goes, I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this because of you. It's very sweet.
Whatever, good for him. I'm glad he's happy.
I'm glad he's happy as well. That's really the last chapter. The book just kind of ends on the DA saying they're going to take those fuckers down. Yeah. Josh and Clara profess their love for each other once again. And then we get an epilogue with 2 years later. It's Thanksgiving. Both her family and his family are together having Thanksgiving together. And we find out that the trial was tough.
Yeah.
And everyone thought it was impossible to win, but they did win. They brought those fuckers down.
Like fully, like the company is dissolved, or just like...
It doesn't say, it just says they won their case and it was a guilty verdict.
They must have got money.
Josh continued to work with the DA after that. Him and Tony really hit it off. And Clara has been full-time committed to Shameless and now has 30 employees under her.
Great.
And they got engaged and they lived happily ever after in my mind. No kids.
Well, yeah. How can you be happy?
So, yeah.
Wow.
Did you like it?
I did like that. That was fun. This was like the first one where I didn't really like put myself in the shoes of anyone.
Good.
You know, it was just like, I was just an audience member.
Audience member. You gotta sometimes.
Well, it's like I can't identify with the super hot guy. I can't identify with this stuck-up bitch. So I'm just here for the show.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good one. That was fun. I get why you liked it so much.
I'm gonna reread it right now.
Yeah, this is like, that's like classic smut romance. Like the pacing of it and the spice and the length of the spice.
Yes. Oh, Paul, this spice. 3.85. I could bump it up to a 3.9, but I don't want to get crazy. I am not getting rid of this. I love this book. I will let my friends read it if they want to, but I want to keep this book for the rest of my life and reread it all the time whenever I'm sad because it makes me happy.
Okay. Why don't you keep that one and not let anyone borrow it then? You should just get a little glass case in your house that says break in case of emergency. And it's just that book.
And if she's having a mental bee, break that and bring it to her. I'm so glad you liked it.
Yeah, that was a super good one. That was nice. That was like solid, strong.
Really good. So I, needless to say, will be reading
checking her stuff out.
More of Rosie Danan. So next week's book.
Oh yeah, okay.
This is going to be, I'm sure you can go places and it's very easy too.
Okay.
It's called Priest.
It's called Priest.
I mean, obviously all I have in my head and all I will have in my head is Hot Priest from
Fleabag, obviously. Okay, I think that Priest is about a priest, right? Mm-hmm. And it's set in like 1872, right? Old.
Victorian.
Old, yeah. And then we're talking, I'm gonna place us in somewhere like coastal, not in America, maybe like
London?
Spain.
Oh, Spain.
I'm thinking maybe like Spain,
Ooh,
Spaniards.
Yes.
And it's about an old like mission monastery place, like up on a hill overlooking the ocean, and it's maybe it's a good little ways outside of the town village that it's next to, but it's like, the village's religious place.
Yes.
And it's about a priest, an older gentleman, maybe in his 50s, gray hair, silver fox, handsome man, built, very mild-mannered. And he kind of like opens his mission to like wayward souls is kind of his thing. And it's known that it's like, if you have someone who's troubled or needs help or whatever, like bring them here, like bring your lost flock to me and I will help them, Mm-hmm. And everyone's just like, oh, he's so great. He's so good. And he's like so strict and he like teaches things so well. And he's just like believes in God, like such a godly man. And so the story will follow a 22, 23-year-old boy, young Spaniard boy, who has been thrown out by his family. He's been on the streets. He's just had a rough life. He did not have a good upbringing. Nothing nice there.
Okay.
And so eventually he gets caught stealing in the village. He just wanders.
Like a piece of bread or something?
Yeah, he's just thieving. And so they catch him and they're in this village, we give you two options. It's either fucking jail or you have to go commit yourself to 5 years of service to our mission, depending on whatever the crime is. And so he's obviously I'm taking that one because I don't want to go to jail or whatever. And so they, haul him up there and they make a whole thing of it. And the priest is there to meet them. And he's like, my child, we shall receive you and whatever, accept your service too, whatever. And it's all very uptight religious. There's the nuns and the other monks and priests walking around tending to the chickens and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so the villagers drop the man off and they leave. And then as the gates close, the priest drops Yak and he's nah, welcome. Ooh. And he's actually this is a place where we have a good time.
Wow.
This is a place where you go when you're on the outskirts of society and we don't turn you away and we don't make you feel like a freak and we don't make you feel different. You come here. He's but our guise is we want these villagers with these small minds and their old ways to bring the lost souls to us so that we can give you a chance. And he's if you don't want to stay here, stay a couple nights and we'll sneak you out and the villagers will never know. And we'll just say you ran away and it's no big deal. Or if you want to stay here, make a home, you're also welcome to it. We could always use another able-bodied young man around the farm. So he's whoa.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I mean, that's huge.
This is crazy.
This is insane.
What's up? And so he gets his little room. He gets his, he's I'm going to he's I'll do a trial. I'll stay for 3 nights at least. And then that's the day I'll decide if I'm going to leave or not. And so then it's really him getting there and then starting to get to know people. And he starts to pick up the vibe that what this priest really meant was that these are all gay. Ooh. Or and that's kind of the whole thing. He meets some cool nuns who are just sweet cool lesbians.
Totally.
And he starts talking to a drag queen nun and stuff. And it's just they've got this whole scheme going and they've got everyone tricked and they're really just living their best weirdo, gay, queer,
fun.
Out there life. And it's if you don't agree with our lifestyle, you hate gay people, whatever, here's the door. We're not going to tell on you. And anytime they've ever been accused of something weird, it's it's coming from someone that the village or whoever has already deemed as unwanted. And they do so many great things for the community. And so they're so charitable and they're a really great place. But the dude, he's I don't know if I'm into this. Yeah. I've never really thought about sexuality.
Oh,
he's I've just been on the run for so long trying to survive. He's I've had sex with girls, but just because it was happening. Mm-hmm. So then, he starts working and he's actually a really talented artist.
Okay.
He likes to do murals. And that's a lot of times what he gets in trouble for is getting caught doing charcoal etchings on the sides of the villages and stuff. Graffiti artist, basically.
Yeah.
But then so he finds that they have a great art little setup studio there. And there's an old guy that has been an artist forever, makes his own stuff. And he's yeah, I'll stay here and just teach him. And the whole time the priest keeps checking in on him. When he's talking to the old guy that's the art guy, he's seems like he's got an eye on you for you, he's giving, not that he doesn't tend to all of his flock equally, but he really seems to have
you're different.
A thing for you. Right. So then the guy just stays and he's I'm not gay or I don't know what I am or whatever, but I'm just going to stay because everyone seems so cool and I can learn art and be a free artist here. But he has to learn all the protocols. What happens when a villager shows up? Whatever. And when we go to town and we do all of our charitable deeds, we have to fake it and pretend we're with them. And that really bothers him. Mm. And meanwhile, so he's staying there and he keeps catching, because after hours there, it's kind of a wild time.
I would imagine so.
They're passing that wine around,
the blood of Christ.
The blood of Christ, the body yada yada of Christ. And I mean, so he has flirtations with people around, but nothing too. He does a lot of watching. It's very voyeuristic of him. He's going around. He's seeing all kinds of combinations of he's, she's, they's, them's, going to town, whatever. And then one night, the priest like catches him watching and is just like, are you like enjoying your stay and stuff? And then he's like, why don't you like join me in my quarters, for our own little drink together. And he's like heart racing because he is kind of like, he feels like I am kind of into this guy
for sure,
but I can't really tell like what this feeling is. Like, is it a like I just am so happy to be home, or like what's going on? And so they go, and he's just like, tell me about your stay. Like, what do you think of everything? And he like kind of tells him about, because like there's something about this priest that you just want to talk to him. Like,
of course.
He just gets it out of you. He feels so comfortable. So he does start telling that he has enjoyed the after hours activities, that he's like very interested in it, but like he doesn't, know. But he does have like one problem that he has been struggling with this whole time. And it's the like hiddenness of everything. Like he thinks that this place is so beautiful and the way they live is so beautiful, but they still go and participate in this closed off, tiny, small-minded world. Facade. And they put it on and they play that game. And it's like, he's like, something just feels like off to me about that. So they have this like philosophical thing. And it is kind of like, the priest is like, I know it is like shameful, where we live in a like hidden, shameful way, but we do so much good here, and there's not another place like this.
Well, it's
like
1872.
It's 1872.
By the way.
Like no one thinks like this. Like these urges and things are the church is smashing out. So it's like this. What do you want me to do? Yeah. Basically, and they have a moment.
Of course,
physical. And they almost kiss, but they don't kiss. But then he like sends the kid to bed or whatever. And so he keeps living that way. He does end up having a couple like blowjobs from like chicks and dudes, like a whole little bisexual thing. But then he does like end up having like just a good old fashioned romp with one of the other priest guys. But they're all like very open. It's like no one's like clingy or whatever. But everyone always talks about like everyone wants to fuck the priest, but he's never fucked any of the flock because he won't do that. Like he's
not a sex cult leader.
He's like, I'm here and like you guys live freely and I want you to live freely, but like I will not be taken advantage or like participate in that way. And they're like, they don't know if it's a rule. He just never has. So whatever. Eventually they're going to the village. They're doing all that stuff. And the kid somehow gets in trouble. He does something bad in town. He like pisses someone off. Some like drunk brute is like, whatever, sissy artist boy, and like beats him up. So he ends up coming back to the mission all bruised and beat up. And obviously that's when the priest is there to bandage him up. And that's when they have their first fuck.
Nice.
And then from that point on, they just build a romance, and they come from very different approaches on the philosophy of this lifestyle they're having, because the young man is like, we should be fighting to make this out and loud and like whatever. And the priest is like, we just need to be here for the people that need us. And so they have a lot of fights and contention. That's whatever their blow up, where they almost like don't do it.
That's their third act breakup.
It is going to like peak when they get discovered by the village, and the boy is like whatever and goes and like makes a mess in the village about it, fight whatever. And then the priest will, I guess, eventually just show up and actually this is going to be sad. This is going to be a sad
Yours
one.
Are always sad endings.
This has got sad.
Not always sad
endings. It just got sad.
But...
I just found out where it was going and it got sad.
Oh no.
Well, he gets like caught by the village, and then he's like, well, fuck you guys. Like, we do so much good for you, and this is our life, and this is how we live, or whatever. And then like the priest is there, and the priest denies it. Yeah. And has to. And then the boy is hung.
The boy
isn't killed for lying against the mission and for being a gay and for being a different and for being an artist.
Wow.
And then it's just back to the priest. And this is kind of like the priest at the end is reflecting on it. And he's like, this is why I like never got attached or like did this with anyone, because like this loss and pain is so great.
Right.
That like, and
I mean, that makes sense.
What this fucking monastery is to people is much more important than even one single like man or my feelings. He's like, I had to sacrifice because there is no other place like what we have, and I dedicated myself to God in this monastery.
That's hard. That's tough.
Yeah.
Ooh. Something tells me that's not what this book is about.
I don't think it is.
But again,
either.
I always prefer your
Oh, it's so sad.
It's very sad. Okay, snap back.
Okay.
Get out of there. Where we went, get out of there.
He loved it.
Yeah, no, that does sound very sad. All right, well, thanks for listening.
No problem. That was a great one. Very solid.
Glad you liked it.
Glad we're back to our regular scheduled programming.
Yep.
And it was solid.
Yep, it was. It was solid. We'll see how Priest shakes out.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'll let you know.
That'll be good.
All right, well, thank you, and bye.
Bye.